And welcome back to Let's Play Blightfall. So, on today's episode, we are going to, real quick, finish up a couple of housekeeping things that we were kind of working on last time a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and head over to the swamp there, as part of our scouting missions. So, a couple of things that we're going to be dealing with right off the bat are our food, which we need to make sure we have enough of to get through our exploration. And I also really want to finish creating this knapsack that I started working on, because the knapsack will allow us to basically carry twice as much inventory as we had before. Now, as you can see, the Ethereal Bloom has fully affected the radius around it. Skipping ahead a little bit here, I wanted to show that because it does appear to be circular around an Ethereal Bloom, whereas the silverwood trees appear to be square. So, having bred the cows a few times since we last, since last episode really, I am shooting them mercilessly with this crossbow. It's rather harsh, but there's just no other way to get leather other than killing the poor cows. So that should be a pretty decent haul. Yes, I think I got a decent amount there. And actually, by getting the leather for the first time in this game, I unlocked a entry in the materials book. So I could, if I really wanted to, I could look that up. I'm sure it's just going to tell me that, you know, leather is this, item that can be used to make armor and give me some stats about it. So I'm manually cooking some of that meat. But I also got this Seguro plant in a seed bag. So I'm going to go ahead and plant this right here. Hopefully it grows. I'm not sure if the space limitations in that corner are going to be prohibitive. I do need to harvest this tree now. I don't know if there's a node in here or not. So I'm going to jump over there and try to figure that out. In fact, I may need to... whoa! That was like a magic trick, guys. Did you see that? I looked up and I looked back down and this tree grew. Like... literally in the less than a second I was looking away. That is so cool. And as you can see, actually the bloodwood leaves took out a block of the silverwood planks that I had stacked up there. I think I stacked those up to get up there at one point, but maybe to plant the thing. I don't remember. But anyway, okay, cool. We can harvest both of these, I suppose. Although I really want to check out the silverwood first and see if there's a node in there. Now, there's no evidence of a node yet. I don't see the taint around the tree going away yet, but it does take a while, so I'm just going to carefully cut into it and see if I see the dark markings that would be associated with a node. I know we haven't created one yet. We've tried a few times, and I think... I'm trying to think if I did it off camera at all. I know I did some of the chopping off camera, but I think we were here to see if it had a node before I did the off-camera stuff. And this one does not appear to have a node, so that's unfortunate. Once you determine that a tree like this does not have a node, you can switch and get out your lumber axe and do the rest the easy way. But I'm going to cut ahead here. Okay, so back here, I did get a dark oak sapling from a sapling bag. Again, I've been using a lot of the sapling and seed bags just to keep expanding my variety. Even if my reputation gets below 0 again, which I'm fine with, there's only a few disadvantages of that. You can't request certain things like copper machines. You can't request ethereal, the silver leaf or shimmer leaf, whatever it's called. But right now I'm more interested in getting a diverse plant population that you can basically request until you're like way below 0. So I'm going to keep doing that. All right, so skipping ahead, having replanted that, let's go ahead and make this knapsack. Got some leather from the cows, putting them along here. We got those iron tool rods last time and the gold ingot in the middle, and boom. Now what we do is we click on the armor icon and we stick it in that slot there. So now we have this knapsack, which basically doubles my inventory space. It's 3 by, 9, I think? So 27 more spaces in addition to the 27 plus 9, which is 36 that you have to begin with. Pretty good expansion. Again, these bloodwood trees do drop red stone and stuff, so it's pretty convenient. Okay, so here's our fridges. This is our multi-block kitchen that we started last time, and I think I moved one of the fridges, but let me put some stuff away. basically what I need to do is create a few items that I haven't eaten a lot of lately. So the hamburger is a good option. If I click that, you'll see it takes toast, raw meat, and a, what is that, a skillet, I think? Yeah. So I manually cooked up some of that beef earlier in a furnace. You can still do that, but you can just do it in the oven too here. I'm going to get some breaded fish sticks. I'm going to get some more toast. That should be cooking in the oven there. And I'm going to take a look. Here's my lunchbox. Now, I did talk about this a little bit, but again, you shift right-click to open and close it. If it's closed, you right-click and you can fill it up. If it's open, you right-click and you will eat from it, the most effective food you can find. I did some off-screen fishing at some point, too, between this episode and the last episode, I believe. And I filled my refrigerator up with some common fish. Unfortunately, I didn't get any treasure. You know what? Now that I think about it, maybe that single-use safari net was from fishing last time. I just don't remember where I got that. Because by the time I did the commentary on that, it was a little bit after the video had been made, so I just can't remember. But either way, moving on, I'm going to grab some torches here, and we're going to make some torches. We've got our food ready to go. Definitely want to make sure I've got my crossbow ammunition ready to go. But otherwise, I think we're pretty well set for this expedition. And I have to tell you, I'm very excited to finally get out of this biodome and get exploring the world, because frankly, the way that we're going to advance the story of this mod pack is by exploration. So rather than travel overland, which you certainly could do, in fact, it's probably easier, all things being equal. But since I already had a large tunnel made heading westward, I figured I'll just jump down into the tunnel and take that route. Of course, this taint is making it not quite so pleasant, but I think if I run, I can get to an area with less taint around, and it will stop poisoning me. So yeah, we're heading west. And I'll show you the map in just a minute. But I want to get out of the tainted area as quickly as I can. It looks like I'm coming up on a corridor that I've mined out with some torches. Just going to grab this iron for some reason. Can't resist. There's some iron over there. But I'm going to... I guess I'll grab... well, I don't feel like dealing with that. Let's just get out of here. Let's just go to the section that I carved out here. So there's no taint over here because I carved it out fresh, and I put some torches up to prevent the spread of taint. Again, most transparent blocks, not all, will stop taint from spreading, so torches are a great example. I did find this little place down here that has a little staircase that was almost pretty much built in, but I made note of it because there was some platinum down there and some mithril, I think. But I kept carving out this space. It's actually kind of nice. I almost prefer like not having the mine shafts and cave systems intersecting these carved out tunnels, because then you don't have to worry about the taint. But anyway, let's keep going. So here's some mithril. I can't harvest that yet. You need a level above Damascus steel to harvest mithril. I think you need like platinum or whatever. That level. I don't know. Is that super diamond? I think that's super diamond. I think Damascus steel is considered diamond. But I did carve out this little section. This is Z level 11, and before going up to the surface, which is what I was going to do, I wanted to check out this level 11, see if there's any interesting ores down here. And yes, there are. This is deep iron. It's not the best, but you know, I think it's on par with iron, or roughly the equivalent, maybe slightly weaker than regular iron, but it's pretty damn abundant under the big mountain ridge. East of Alpha Dome, far west of Delta Dome. There's some more mithril I found on the way up the stairs here. And we're going to pop up to the surface, and we're going to go to the swamp. Now, I found some iron here. Now, I thought, you know, the best way to get to the swamp would be to probably take a boat, because frankly, walking over all that tainted land is not the best idea if you want to survive in this place. So I did bring some extra wood. But the first things first, I want to have my crossbow ready in case there are enemies waiting to greet us when we come out of here. And there's even some leftover blocks from when I
I did most of the mining on the western part of that tunnel off screen, so kind of save some time there, not having to bore you with routine mining. So here we are on the banks of this river that comes out at the lake we were just looking at there, which has obviously a silverwood in the middle of it there, and probably an ethereal bloom or two. We're going to take this river down this way. We're going to go around this bend, and we're going to plop over here with this bright area, because I want to get, if there's any teleporters or anything on the way, I want to get those so I can more easily access the same area again. And then, okay, so let's make a crafting bench first. And once I get through that river, it's going to head northwards towards the swamp that we're heading towards. So I'm going to make a few boats. Actually, I probably should have made more than one, but whatever. Okay, so I got my crossbow and I got my boat. I feel like I'm on a jungle expedition just waiting to be attacked. Off to the right is a greatwood tree with some cobwebs on it. That means there's a chest under that tree, and I definitely should remember that because I'd like to get that before too much crusted taint develops and there's a lot of swarms and stuff, because that's a lot to deal with. But I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to try to stay on task. As you know, I get distracted fairly easily, as I know a lot of people tend to do in this game. There is a village off to the left, which is very tempting. There is a tendril there, very tempting to get into that, but the truth is, it's not really going to do me that much good to kill it right now. It's just going to be there when I come back the next time, or, you know, I think those tendrils, or tentacles, or whatever they're called, spawn anew from time to time. I don't think they're always set in exactly the same place indefinitely if you're like off of the chunk for a while. Okay, so I've taken the boat down to where this redwood tree is, and it's loading, and I think I want to just jump over there real quick and take a quick peek at that and see if there's a teleporter. Looks like there's some pork chop, raw pork laying here from when the pig became taintified, so I'll happily grab that. You definitely want to... The nice thing about the knapsack is when you grab those tainted tentacles and tainted goo, you can stick them in your knapsack and they won't infect you from there. So that's a great technique to use. Okay, so we got this tree. We got some shimmer leaf at the bottom. Another pig there. Go ahead and grab him. Axe him to death. A non-tainted pig, which is always fun. Kill him before he becomes trouble. There's no point in not killing the animals because you're going to get, eventually you're going to get, they're just going to spawn everywhere, so you don't need to conserve them. Okay. Another pig. Mr. Pig, you're going down. Fortunately, they don't do a ton of damage, so fairly easily survive that. I'm just replanting the shimmer leaf for now. Okay, this is really interesting. I really love the texture of this floor. It looks like a kitchen floor somewhere. There's this flux. We'll talk about that sometime. I'm not sure why it's here. I think it must have spawned there. Either that or somehow there was a tainted dirt or... actually, it looks like that far part of the tree there might have been a crusted taint block that turned into liquid when the node in the silverleaf tree cured it. I'm going to grab some of this acacia tree stuff while I'm here so I can get a sapling. I did get the teleporter unlocked there, which is the main purpose of me being here. But I'm just going to grab a sapling if I can real quick. There, I got one. And we're going to head out now, I think. Let's just grab a little bit more acacia. Nah, let's just get out of here. We could grab one of those ethereal blooms, I suppose. Because they're basically right next to each other. Oh, yeah, there's a guy that jumped off the house over there. Did you see that? He looks like a guard or something. I should probably be careful about him. Well, anyway. At some point I'd like to cure that village, but not today. And I definitely want to explore this tree a little bit more. And I definitely want to come back and grab those mystic flowers, but my purpose in today's mission is not to do any of that. It's to get over to the swamp. So let's continue with that mission. I think unlocking the transporter was a good enough thing to do. So fortunately our boat is still sitting here, just like our Disney-style river guide. It can continue down the river. This is a really well-built river. Like, it's the perfect width for boats like this. It's got really good, well-decorated sides. The jungle, you feel like you're in a jungle, even though it's tainted. and that'll all eventually be destroyed.
For now, it's very much intact. So I'm going to go grab these cocoa beans because that's easy to grab real quick, and it's actually a really important resource, both for food and for dye. It's brown dye. It's the source of brown for dyes, and it makes things like cookies and I think some cake or sweet recipes of that nature, and chocolate, like chocolate milk, for example. Okay, and there's another village over here, but we're not going to deal with that right now. We're going to keep going. One thing that I would like to find, actually, is sugarcane. I really need sugarcane, both for books and for sugar. A lot of things in this game have dual uses, but those uses become, especially the food-related things like sugar, become so much more important when you're using a pack that tells you you can't eat the same thing more than once every 200 times. So we're going to head basically due north at this point to get to the swamp. Now there's this coastline over here which is very interesting. A lot of jungle wood. And a lot of tainted animals. Some non-tainted animals at this point, but I suspect they'll be tainted in the near future. And then coming up to the north here is going to be a series of islands, if you remember from the map. The islands appear to be part of a chain of islands that are connected to the swamp. Okay. Okay, there's something down there. That appears to be some sort of man-made object, some sort of building or temple or something. Almost looks like a water temple, except for it's a lot smaller. I'm definitely going to check that out sometime when I have some better resources to do so. The swamp is only 240 blocks away, which is coming right up. But the neighboring islands here definitely are part of the swamp biome, as you can tell by the vines and just the way that the water is kind of darker, and definitely a swamp biome. And we're getting close to our destination. Yet another island off to the right there. And then the one straight ahead, I think, is where the tree is going to be. Yeah, there's a silverwood tree coming in there. Okay. And also, by the way, on this one, we get pumpkins and sugarcane. That's excellent. That is excellent. I was worried about whether or not we were going to get those. So, excellent. Okay. Well, let's grab these resources real quick. And we got some mushrooms as well. The mushrooms are going to be vital for our food diversity as well, so that's great. I made some pasta, so I just took a bite of that. I apologize for the awkward gap in my dialogue. Okay, so we got this Ethereal Bloom. It appears to be just sitting here not doing anything, so I might grab that too. And there's a blueberry bush on the adjacent island. I remember that, or some sort of berry bush, from when I played through this the other time, so I might go grab that if I remember. But I don't really think this Ethereal Bloom is doing much good here, so I'm just going to grab it. I might let that one hang out, because I definitely want to keep it, keep the, well, I think I'll just take it. Might as well grab these mushrooms, they're just going to disappear anyway. Okay, so that pretty much is the swamp, and we definitely completed the mission, so let's, should we turn it in? Or should I kill that cow? Definitely got some pumpkins and mushrooms and sugarcane and cocoa beans as well on this expedition, which is great. I might have put just a little too much pepper in my pasta. Although, I like a spicier pasta. I could go ahead and destroy this tainted crust while I'm here. And it says the sugarcane, the discovery of the sugarcane added knowledge to my materials book, which is actually really interesting because you can actually make parts for tools out of paper, which is really counterintuitive, actually. Like, who would make a paper handle for an axe? It doesn't make sense. I might as well chop these trees down before they become crusted taint, to the extent that they haven't already. Okay, so let's go ahead and just transport back to Alpha. I can free up my inventory a little bit by using my newly created knapsack. So that's very handy. And why don't we take a look at our quests.
let's go to the Scout tab. And what we're going to do is claim the reward for the swamp. Now, that's a pretty healthy reward. It's like 15 or so. Whatever. But it unlocked a few other locations. And so those scouting rewards are very hefty. And it definitely is how we advance the plot of the game. So I'm very pleased that we finally got around to exploring the swamp. A lot easier to get over to the swamp if you start out at Alpha Dome, which is right above where my cursor was. But that middle one in the plains there is where we're going to be going next, I think. So I think for now what I'll just do is maybe just grab a few more things from here, but then basically head back to the Delta biome. Grab some of these vines too. The vines could be very useful in the near future because they're kind of a free source of herba essentia that we're going to get into in Thaumcraft. Because you basically can make unlimited vines, and pretty quickly too. But let's head back to our home dome, as it were. And we're just going to wrap up the episode a little bit here by showing you what we got, starting to plant some things, that sort of thing. Those pork chops, even though we can't get any pigs yet, are going to be good for just a couple meals anyway. And we'll plant some pumpkins. And you know, the thing is that, like in vanilla Minecraft, you can plant pumpkins anywhere on dirt. It doesn't have to be within a distance of water, and they'll still grow. In this patch, however, if you try to plow a field to plant something more than 4 away from water, it will instantaneously almost turn back to regular grass. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to plant it right here within that radius of 4. Okay, so they're staying, and those are going to grow into pumpkins. The pumpkins are going to be set off to the side. I also planted that sugarcane, as you saw. I'd like to plant some cocoa beans up here, maybe. Actually, I could just put them right on this little tree stand here. This is how I chop down trees sometimes, is I just go up and I, from time to time, up top here, and chop them down off screen to keep my wood supply nice and steady. But I think that's going to be a good place to plant those cocoa beans, because that I'll be up there a decent amount, and if I feel like I need more, I'll just always be able to harvest from a few pods of the cocoa. But with these extra ethereal blooms, I might try to expand my habitable territory here. Maybe create some fresh water rather than this tainted water. Not that it matters. Tainted water doesn't do anything. It doesn't spawn enemies. It doesn't kill you. It just looks purple. And they don't call it tainted water. That's just what I call it, I guess. But I'm going to go ahead and plant these, and then might just do 1 or 2 more housekeeping things real quick, but basically that's going to do it for the episode. Let me just double check one more thing. Just going to run up here real quick. The grass is growing steadily to the top of our chain of dirt blocks here, by the way, which is exactly what we want. We want there to be grass wherever we can have it. And I don't have Silk Touch yet, so I have to let it grow organically up here. But I think it's kind of useful, and it's going to look better, frankly, to have grass up there rather than just dirt, frankly. So, filling it a little bit there. Waiting on that acacia tree, waiting on those silverwoods to pop. I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm just going to go ahead and wind things down here. So, you know, we did have a very successful mission. We finished getting ready. We finally went to the swamp, underground mostly, and then via boat. And I think those were actually really good decisions to avoid most of the taint. We got some new crops. We planted some new stuff. And now we're just kind of in a good position. So let's end it here, and then next episode we'll continue where we left off. Just remember to check us out again. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Let's Play Blightfall.